Gilead Sciences deepening its ties with biotech firm Galapagos with a new $5 billion investment. And Meg Tirrell joins us with a special guest on the topic. Meg.
Thanks, Wolf. And that special guest is Gilead CEO Dan O'Day in his first television interview since taking over the company in March. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So a big deal, and folks saying this could be sort of a signal as to how you envision your strategy playing out at Gilead. What should investors really be taking from this deal as to how you see the future of the company?
Well, I'm thrilled to be working with the colleagues at Gilead. I mean, this is the company that cured hepatitis C and turned HIV into a manageable chronic illness. So what I really wanted to do as one of my priorities was, expand the portfolio at Gilead. And I think this collaboration we announced is exactly in line with what we need. It's a collaboration with one of the leading biotech companies in Europe that allows us to collaborate, have significant investments, and have an exclusive right to everything that comes out of this innovative company for the next 10 years.
So, of course, you came to Gilead from Roche, where you spent your entire career, and we spoke many times there when you were leading their pharmaceuticals unit for the U.S. Roche's big collaboration, of course, was with Genentech. Is this a model? Is the Roche-Genentech collaboration a model for what you're doing with Gilead and Galapagos?
So I think it is. Everyone is different, and you need different structures for different means. But particularly when you're trying to enhance science and engage some of the very best scientists, I think having this independence, so making sure that Galapagos has their independence is the best way to make sure the scientists stay with the company in an entrepreneurial environment. They work fast, they move fast. These are hard deals to do because at the end of the day, they require trust. They require alignment of following the science in transformational medicines. And it also requires trust at the CEO level. And I'm happy we've established that relationship between Galapagos and Gilead.
To Meg's first question, is this going to be a blueprint for how you see collaborating with companies as opposed to doing the outright purchase of a company? I mean, a couple of years back, Gilead purchased Kite. Some analysts said that you overpaid for it. There are questions about whether it was a great acquisition or not, whether it actually paid off. And here you are deepening a partnership with a company. Do you see that as the way to go as opposed to M&A?
So I think there's no one size fits all. If it's in your sweet spot, if you're bringing a medicine in that's connected with what you do best, then I think an acquisition might be the right way to go. But when you have this kind of long-term nature of independent collaborations, we're a U.S.-based research company predominantly. Galapagos gives us a network into European science, and keeping that independent is really important. On the Kite deal, I think, as you know, when I came in, I decided to keep that, of course, under the Gilead umbrella, full support for that. But I've made it a separate business unit. We just recently hired a CEO. It's a pioneering new technology in medicine that is right in the sweet spot of Gilead because we're talking about cures for patients with devastating blood disorders. But I want Kite to be focused on staying on the cutting edge of science for the cell therapy in oncology.
So a big deal, a big transformative deal is not off the table. I mean, investors like the fact that you've got about $30 billion in cash on the balance sheet. They also don't like the fact that you have $30 billion in cash on the balance sheet because they're afraid of a bad acquisition.
Yeah, look, I think in general, these large mergers and acquisitions have destroyed value instead of increasing value. So I think it's smarter to take a look at increasing innovation through different mechanisms. And you get a sense for that with this collaboration, with what the team and I have done here today. We'll see more, I think, of keeping the bar really high on science, making sure transformational medicines make a massive difference for patients. And we'll find the right structure to make it work in each case.
But on the structure side, because there's $30 billion, some people would say burning a hole in your pocket. What do you do with it long term?
Well, I think
more buybacks.
Look, our capital deployment strategy hasn't changed. Most importantly, we want to put it to work at R&D because that's our lifeblood. We got to make sure we continue to support our portfolio. But we'll continue to look at ways to return money to shareholders. We just want to make sure it's smart. Just because you have money in your pocket doesn't mean you should spend it immediately.
Amen. You're not going to get a disagreement from me on that end.
All right, I'm hearing we are out of time. Dan, we'll have to have you back to talk about a lot more, including, of course, everything that's going on with drug prices. We'll have you back to join us.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.